One person is confirmed dead. The number of total victims, there's still a question mark there, but the chief saying 10 to 15, possibly up to 15 victims in this. We do not know their conditions. It is also very possible that one of the suspects, at least one, was tackled and subdued by fans there at the rally. 800 officers in the area there when this shooting took place, just on the west side of Union Station, as this day of celebration was just about to wrap up. Hundreds of thousands of people in and around the downtown Kansas City area for this, but again, from the police chief there, who says she is angry at what happened because this is not Kansas City, but again, 10 to 15 injured and one person confirmed dead. At this point, we will go ahead and begin our 4 o'clock newscast. I will kick it over right now to Jacob and Lane. Guys.
She comes running and she's like, no, it's shots fired.
I was just telling everybody to get down, and then like get out the way, and the officers were coming around.
We saw the police swarm a stairwell, and then we heard another pop from there. We did see 2 police officers lead someone away in handcuffs.
The whole side of the street started running right. So just mass hysteria going all around.
Right after the gunshots went off, we just heard like a ton of police sirens. And that's when I kind of knew that they were gunshots and not fireworks or anything.
Mass hysteria. Just people freaking out. This is a day that we come together to celebrate, and unfortunately it ended in something tragic.
From 12 News, breaking news.
Welcome to 12 News at 4. I'm Lane Alter.
I'm Jacob Albrecht. We began this afternoon with the breaking news from Kansas City at what was supposed to be a celebration of a Chiefs Super Bowl today that has turned far worse into tragedy. Shots fired during that parade and rally at the very end of the celebration at Union Station. What we do know, you caught a live press briefing, and we're welcoming in everybody now who's joining us on the KSCW, that one person is dead. Police say up to 10 to 15 people were shot and are injured. Those conditions we do not have. We have Team 12 coverage there. Our own Max Dutton was right near that scene when this happened. So Max, from a first-hand account, what do you know about what you heard, saw, and what can you tell us?
And Jacob, our car was actually parked about 20 yards away from when this happened. We were sitting in the front seat. We heard a lot of gunshots, sometimes even sounds like fireworks for a lot of people. You kind of saw people scatter across. I want to set the scene, though, to show you what it was. Now, right where our car was, as soon as we heard those gunshots, we did get out of the car. We kind of walked down to see what was going on. People were scattered all over. Where the police presence are right now is where we did see one victim on the ground. We did see a gun by that victim as well. That victim was then carted off. Now, just about 15 minutes after that, we were getting ready to set up another live shot, and that's when a second batch of police started running inside Union Station. They then headed inside to something else going on there. We were then moved back as media, and we've been here since then. Now, even about 3 o'clock after we were set up, we saw more police officers head west towards I-35 on the track that our photographer's Rami is giving for you right now, kind of to where those police are currently. They were in that area for 15 to 20 minutes. Still don't really know what they were doing over there, but that was kind of the scene we saw. A lot of people crying, scattered. At first, I think it did take a lot of people moments to realize what it was. Like we said, some people have been describing it as fireworks. We thought someone threw a firecracker cluster, and we just saw people like a circle just run from every direction.
Now, we've had multiple different questions of kind of what happened after that. There's still a lot of questions left unanswered. We do know one person dead, 10 to 15 injured. That status on those injured still unknown at this time, Jacob.
Max, I do want to ask you a follow-up question. So we heard the police chief ask this, and we've seen these videos circulating on social media of fans tackling somebody. Certainly looked like it was somebody running away from the police. I don't know where that was to where you are, but did you see anything like that as this was happening? Because that's one of the more widely spread things right now that we're seeing online.
We can show you exactly where that happened. Now, I'm going to have my photographer walk with me down here. You can kind of see where some of those news vans are. That's where that took place. When we got off the scene, we probably were in that area within about
3 to 4 minutes after we heard the gunshots ring out, and at that point it was kind of a scattered mess, but we did see a lot of people kind of in that area on the ground, and we actually had a woman come up to us and said they have someone down over there. That's what got us to kind of go down into that area. And then after that, like we said, we were set up right where one of the victims was lying down. Then they moved us again. That's when they ran back inside Union Station. So very active scene there. Right now, a lot of it not as active, but like we said, there are hundreds of thousands of people here for this rally. And in just a matter of minutes, it looks like this. Jacob.
All right, Max, thank you. We'll get back to Max later in the newscast. Right now, we also have Sean logging there in Kansas City. He was in a very different area as this is happening. Sean, what did you see?
Yeah, Jacob, we are actually several blocks away from Union Station, but this is the area where people were coming to get away from that situation. Definitely a startling way to end a day of celebration and jubilation for many people. Now, I was able to speak with several people that were coming this way to get away from that situation. They tell me that they were just shocked and disappointed that this is something that had to happen. A college student who tells me that she was leaving with her friends when they heard the initial shots, at least 5, they say. Now, it was there that she witnessed the police quickly moving into an area where her and her friends were near.
And we saw the police push the barricade and start to sort of jump over the ledge, like kind of where the Union parking garage is. Right after the gunshots went off, we just heard like a ton of police sirens, and that's when I kind of knew that they were gunshots and not fireworks or anything.
Emery tells me something else that upsets her was just there was a number of families at this event, so many of them had to scatter as well, which was difficult to imagine with young children. She also says that just with nearly 1 million people at this event, the shooting just defies reason.
All right, thank you so much, Sean. Now, Haley Tucker is in the newsroom breaking down what we know about those who have been detained.
So a lot of information coming in as these things happen now, especially with social media. Haley, what do we know so far?
Yeah, Jacob Lane, so this is obviously a very fluid situation. We're learning more details by the minute about those who have been arrested. We just heard from the Kansas City police chief within the last 10 minutes. She says 2 people were quickly apprehended after those shots were fired. And here's a look at a video just into our newsroom from our partners in Topeka of one of those people. We do want to make it clear here, so we don't know the circumstances of this arrest, but we do know, again, shortly after those shots were fired, 2 people were detained, including this man you see on your screens here. There was also video, like Jacob said earlier in the newscast, we are currently trying to get a hold of citizens tackling a potential suspect to the ground, then police arresting them as well. The police chief said in her news conference a couple minutes ago there were 800 officers in the area where the shooting happened, and those suspects were detained quickly. And we also wanted to share this with you. Chiefs players who were celebrating up on the stage as the parade was wrapping up, tweeting their prayers tonight. Patrick Mahomes tweeting, praying for Kansas City. Drew Tranquil also posting, please join me in prayer for all the victims in this heinous act. Pray that doctors and first responders would have steady hands and that all would experience full healing. And Donovan Smith posting, praying for everyone today in Kansas City. Again, right now, we know at least 2 people have been detained in this mass shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs celebration today.
Haley, thank you. Several top Kansas elected officials were at the rally. You saw the Kansas City mayor there speak right before we came on. Senator Roger Marshall also in attendance, tweeting this afternoon that he was devastated and angered by the senseless act of violence that turned a day of celebration for the community into a complete tragedy. Governor Laura Kelly tweeting that she was evacuated and is safe and out of harm's way. And again, we've been told that all the Chiefs players and coaches are safe as well. So here's what we know. 1 person is dead, and anywhere from 10 to 15 people have also been shot this afternoon in a mass shooting during the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory rally at Union Station. We do not know the circumstances of what led to the shooting, but we do know at least 2 people were taken into custody, and fans, hundreds of thousands of them, were urged to exit the area as quickly as possible. Much more coverage of this situation coming for you here on 12 News. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
From 12 News, breaking news.
Now, we do have team coverage in Kansas City where there was a shooting after the Chiefs parade today, but one of our own reporters was actually at the parade today as just a spectator on his day off as well.
Dylan Domingue was also near the shooting, as you heard from Max Dutton, who was working it for us. Dylan is safe, has made it back to his car, and filed this report about what he witnessed.
Hello, everyone. This is Dylan Doming with 12 News. I'm in downtown Kansas City. I was a spectator at the championship celebration, or what should have been a celebration.
The mayor of Kansas City now taking to the podium there in front of police headquarters. Let's listen in.
Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves.
From kWch, you're watching 12 News at 10.
This is absolutely a tragedy, the likes of which we would have never expected in Kansas City, and the likes of which we will remember for some time.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment. Because of bad actors, this tragedy occurred.
We continue following that breaking news out of Kansas City tonight as one person is dead and at least 21 others are hurt following a mass shooting.
Happened this afternoon following the Chiefs' victory rally in KC. We are learning new information tonight. The two biggest developments we have learned: first, Kansas City radio station KKFI confirming one of its DJs, Lisa Lopez Galvin, was killed in today's shooting. Second, we're learning more about the children hurt during this incident. Children's Mercy confirming 9 of the 21 hurt are children. Their ages range from 6 to 15. The hospital, though, saying they are all expected to survive. Additionally, police confirming they have arrested 3 people in connection to the shooting. And again, 21 people being treated for gunshot wounds of some kind, including 9 children. We also know the FBI is on scene. The president has been briefed on the situation.
Tonight, we have Team 12 coverage from Kansas City. Brandon Stitt and Sean Logging are in Kansas City right now talking with eyewitnesses. And we also have Rachel Hallam here in our newsroom with reaction from Wichitans who were at that parade today.
We do want to start with Brandon in that area where that shooting happened. Brandon, things look so much different hours later. What are we seeing there tonight?
Yeah, Mike, they look very much so different. And as you said in the beginning, there were more than 20 people hurt this afternoon in that shooting. 9 of those were children that were shot. All of them are expected to recover. And like you also said, that DJ from Kansas City, Lisa Lopez, killed in that gunfire in what was supposed to be a time of celebration for the people here in Kansas City. The scene is now quiet. The police are the only ones that are here right now, and the moment actually is just very somber. And just a few hours ago, it was packed as people were celebrating the Chiefs' victory. As shots rang out just after the parade this afternoon, people ran for cover as police rushed in to find those suspects. Countless people didn't know what was happening. Some described what they heard as sounding like fireworks. Others were upset and sad at what took place on what was supposed to be a day of fun and celebration. We talked to some of them after the shooting, and one in particular that left just before the shooting took place.
We thought someone threw a firecracker cluster, and we just saw people like a circle just run from every direction. With just mass hysteria going all around. I just never thought I'd be part of something like this.
So it's all hype, you know, Chiefs, and then something like this kind of dampers everybody, you know, so I'm kind of disappointed.
You know, you just didn't think that it would really happen here, but I guess it can happen anywhere.
And the police department does confirm that 3 people are in custody at this time, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of emotions running through the Kansas City area tonight. Mike, Rachel.
Brandon, thank you. Tonight, seeing some new footage from our sister station, KCTV, where they were live on the scene as that shooting happened. Take a listen.
Guys, something's going on. Something's going on, guys. Guys, something's going on. Guys.
You can see it took a moment for the crowd to even realize what was happening. One of the suspects believed to have been involved was actually tackled by fans at the rally. So some of the video here of the aftermath of those fans that had chased him and took him to the ground. They took the man to the ground until police were able to get there, and that's what you're seeing here. Tonight, we heard from one of the men, Paul Contreras, who says he helped take him down.
We just heard somebody
yelling to stop this guy, tackle him, and he was coming in the opposite direction. So you don't think about it. It's just a reaction. He got close to me. I got the right angle on him, and I hit him from behind. And when I hit him from behind, I either jarred the gun out of his hand or out of his sleeve, because as I'm taking him down to the ground, I see the gun on the ground. So I take him down, and I'm putting all my body weight on him. And then another Good Samaritan comes over and is helping me, because I kind of got him high, and the other guy gets him around his waist, and we're just putting our weight on him, and he's just fighting to get up, but we're fighting to keep him down.
Tonight we are hearing from other eyewitnesses who were at today's rally.
Sean Logging continues our Team 12 coverage, speaking with some of those who saw that shooting happen.
This was the day people journeyed here for, one of celebration and history. People left, leaving for all the wrong reasons.
There were shots that fired.
Olivia Lewis among those who witnessed the shooting at Union Station as the victory rally for the Kansas City Chiefs was coming to an end.
I've at least seen 10 bodies get shot.
She says one of the young victims of this was her cousin. The last Olivia saw, she was heading to the hospital.
I seen her get carried away in that ambulance, and it was just all just a blackout moment.
The shots initially thought to be fireworks by Emery Watson.
I didn't know what was going on at first.
She was here with her friends from college, like so many people wanting to take part in this celebration.
We heard multiple gunshots, and then we were walking and we saw the police push the barricade.
She was among thousands walking blocks to get away, left processing the emotions of what they went through.
It hasn't really set in that we were like right there.
Something else expressed to me by Olivia and others I've spoken with is anger that this happened at an event where you had so many children and families.
It was supposed to be a fun, good time, a family event, an event that you're supposed to bring friends and family in. I hope and pray to God that you guys are safe.
Olivia says now she's struggling to make sense of the trauma she saw.
It was very difficult. It was very difficult.
When there should not have been any at all. In Kansas City, Sean Logging, 12 News.
Mass shootings are difficult to talk about with children, especially when they happen somewhere as close to home as Kansas City. Michelle Calvert with ComCare of Wichita says most kids are used to practicing drills in school, but the close vicinity of today's shooting can drive home the reality of the situation. Calvert says that in a situation like this, the first step is simple. Just talk to your kids.
Do they know what happened? How do they feel about what happened? And then we want to make sure that they know that they're safe. So we can tell them you're safe at home, you're safe at school. You know, there are people around you that are here to keep you safe.
Calvert says while these conversations can be difficult to approach, they're important to have. She says children need to be prepared for whatever might come their way. Chiefs players who were celebrating up on stage as the parade was wrapping up, tweeting out their prayers. Travis Kelce just tweeting his response to the shooting tonight, saying, quote, "I am heartbroken over the tragedy that took place today. My heart is with all who came out to celebrate with us and have been affected. Casey, you mean the world to me." Patrick Mahomes tweeting, also praying for Kansas City. And Drew Tranquil also posting, "Please join me in prayer for all the victims in this heinous act. Pray that doctors and first responders would have steady hands and that all would experience full healing." Donovan Smith tweeting, "Praying for everyone today in Kansas City." The Kansas City Chiefs organization also sharing its own statement on today's shooting, saying the team is, quote, "truly saddened by all of the senseless acts of violence and that their hearts go out to the victims, their families, and all of Kansas City." The team also says it's confirmed all of its players, coaches, staff, and families were safe tonight.
Several top Kansas elected officials at today's rally, including Senator Roger Marshall, tweeting this afternoon, "I'm devastated and angered by the senseless act of violence that turned a day of celebration for the community into a complete tragedy." Governor Laura Kelly was also there and is safe. She thanked first responders and said the senseless act of violence goes against everything Kansas City and Chiefs Kingdom stand for.
There will likely be new developments in the overnight hours, including new updates from Kansas City Police. When those happen, we will let you know first right here on the KWCH News app. Then we'll have the latest from Kansas City tomorrow morning. Our morning team begins coverage at 4:30.
We're learning more about the mass shooting that took place at the Chiefs celebration yesterday.
In a press conference today, Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves says that shooting appeared to happen after a dispute between several people. A 43-year-old woman was killed and 21 more were hurt, at least half of which are under the age of 16. 2 juvenile suspects are in custody tonight, and police are working to determine if others were involved. Chief Graves says that in addition to police response, event goers jumped in heroically to help.
Experienced a tragic event during a time that was meant for celebration. The law enforcement response was exemplary. Those in attendance also responded. They helped one another and even physically stopped a person who was believed to be involved in the incident.
Part of that group of people who took down the suspect, a couple from Mays.
12 News reporter Sean Logging talked to that couple and also witnesses about what was going through their minds during this incident. Sean?
Mike, Rachel, as you just heard, the Kansas City Police Chief thanked those fans today for their quick action to help stop one of those people believed to be involved until police could get to that scene. But a day later, it is still a situation where people are processing what happened and the magnitude of it. Quick thinking and quick action.
I heard somebody yell, "Get him," and I looked to my left, and this guy's running, towards us.
Instinct is what drove Trey and Casey Filter of Mays as Trey and another fan tackled and held down one of the people running away from that scene.
In the scuffle, we didn't know if he still had a gun. I didn't know she had grabbed that, and it was being yelled through the whole thing, and so it was a tense 30 seconds.
What they describe as an assault rifle flying and landing at Casey's feet.
My initial thought was just to get it away and out of the area and kind of hide it.
They were at the rally with their 2 kids, wanting to take part in his back-to-back Super Bowl celebration.
The drive back was very sobering as we realized,
Yeah, that's when we were realizing how
much was going
the
on.
magnitude of it.
Like them, this whole situation left many trying to react.
20 seconds after conclusion, then I heard pow, 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 which I thought were firecrackers, and I thought that was part of the show.
That confetti cannons were also used during the rally, initially added to that belief for Martin Harding of Wichita. He says he was in the area where that shooting happened, but moved to get a better view.
I was yelled at by policemen to get up against the barricades, and there were 3-foot steel barricades. I was told to get by the barricades, stay there, and don't move.
It wasn't until he finally got back to his car he learned the full scale of the situation. It's creating for a common sentiment.
Everybody in Kansas City, we're praying for you guys.
There were people who ran toward the area of the shooting to help those who needed it. A nurse from Wichita among those providing emergency care to one of the gunshot victims until EMS could get there. Sean Logging talked with her today about why it was important for her to be able to assist in a time of need. That's new at 5. Sean?
Mike, Jessica Dean tells me it was a last-minute decision by her family to go up to the Chiefs championship celebration. After watching the parade, she was with a group of 6 family members attending the rally. She tells me that she and her cousin were standing within 10 feet of where that shooting happened.
Got as close as we could.
Among the hundreds of thousands at the Chiefs rally, Jessica Dean was with 5 members of her family. She and her cousin managing to get up on a ledge, the rest about 20 feet away.
2 steps off of that ledge and heard the gunfire.
Jessica says those shots were a few feet away and quickly worked to lead her cousin to safety.
When I saw the people laying on the ground, my first focus was my cousin, and I said, "Go find your mom," who I knew was with the rest of our family. And I remember her screaming, "Help them."
A nurse of 10 years, Jessica says she went to one of the 3 victims she saw. Jessica says it was a man with 2 gunshot wounds, one in the chest, the other in the groin, performing CPR and applying pressure.
I remember looking up and just looking to my left, to my right, and you see people laying all over the ground.
Jessica says at least 2 other nurses joined her to provide care for that man.
I think it just makes you really proud. Because if it was me or my family, I really, really hope that somebody would have stopped.
When EMS took over, Jessica says she grabbed the hands of some of those standing by her to create a barrier between the victim and bystanders until the man was taken away.
And I looked over and it was my sister. And she had left the rest of our family when she found out I stayed behind and came back to make sure that she was with me.
Jessica says she doesn't see the response she took as anything extraordinary, as so many people stepped up to care for those who were injured.
There's a couple really bad individuals, but there were so many great people there that day. So many great people.
Welcome into 12 News. I'm Dylan Doming. A Wichita family is still in mourning tonight following the tragic death of Lisa Lopez Galvan. Lisa lived in Kansas City, where she was known for being a radio DJ. She was at that Chiefs Super Bowl rally Wednesday where she was shot and killed. New tonight, 12 News reporter kWch Chapman spoke with Lisa's grandson, Julian, who remembers her for being fun-loving and the rock of that family.
Yeah, that was my rock. My grandma, she meant everything to me.
Lisa Lopez Galvan made a difference in the lives of many people.
My grandma was so cool. She was a DJ. She coached basketball. She coached softball. She was always just an amazing person. You know, she was into everything. My grandma, she always wanted to help small businesses. She would always give people shout outs because she wanted to see everybody succeed.
And she meant the world to her family, especially to her grandson, Julian Banuelos.
Every time we'd go down to Kansas City, we'd always leave on Sundays. And every Sunday, she'd always make us her famous chorizo burritos, but she'd always have music playing, and she'd always just be there dancing with us while she was cooking. Always had Mexican, Latino music always just going. It was just a fun household to be in.
Lisa wasn't the only one in Julian's family to get shot at the parade. He says his uncle and 2 cousins were hit as well and were taken to the hospital. Julian says it's been an emotional week for his entire family as they grieve the loss of someone they loved.
I'm about to have a child of my own, and what breaks my heart the most is I can't see my child grow up with my grandma. She was such an amazing person, and to know her was truly to love her. She was just amazing.
In Wichita, kWch Chapman, 12 News.
Since the deadly mass shooting at the Chiefs Super Bowl rally, we're sharing some never-before-seen video from our crew from when it happened.
As we learn more about the chaotic events of that day, 12 News reporter Max Dutton shares the stories of 2 Wichita area natives being called heroes. We want to warn you again, some of the footage you're about to see may be hard to watch.
At 7 a.m. I went down to the parade and got us seats.
We were making friends with people around us. It was a great day.
And it was wonderful. At no point before the moment it happened did a mass shooting ever even cross my mind.
Mass shooting was the last thing I had on my mind.
1:48 p.m., just 9 seconds after the end of the rally. This chilling video shows the moment the gunfire erupted.
Saw 2 individuals walk behind us.
Jessica Dean, an off-duty nurse from Wichita.
Anybody have a description on the shooter?
It kind of gave me like a feeling of, that doesn't look right.
People say 2 kids in black jackets.
Now you realize you've just been part of some kind of shooting.
1:49, less than 1 minute after we hear the gunshots, our cell phone video shows fans walking towards the scene unaware of what's happening.
Shooter on the west side of the Union Station. Yeah, shots fired on the west side.
1:50 p.m. This viral video shows the dramatic moment Mays native Trey Filter tackled one of the suspected gunmen, his wife Casey leaping into action to secure the gun. Trey telling me the gunman was headed back towards Union Station.
The little kids are running from him. People are chasing him.
And he had the gun in his hands.
Yeah, but I couldn't see it, you know, but I saw, they said get him. I see 5 people running, and then I track him and go.
So he was running back this way?
Yeah, his guy got gigged up. There were 2 gunmen running together.
301, we've got 2 people with CPR in progress.
Panic intensifying. The realization of what had just unfolded sweeping across the crowd.
Walking up and seeing people on the ground and realizing they've been shot.
Jessica, just feet away from one of the 23 people shot.
A gunshot wound in his groin area was producing a lot of blood.
1:52, our cell phone video showing the circle protecting Jessica and the man who was shot as she works to save his life.
There's a gun, I would say 3 to 6 inches from my knee.
At 1:53, 5 minutes after the first gunshots, our 12 News team arrives on scene and captures video of this gun.
In the midst of holding pressure is when that police officer who had been standing there from the beginning put his foot up against my leg, and then hearing him say, "I'm going to stay here in case they come back."
1:58, just as one of the first victims is getting loaded onto a stretcher, Officers frantically run inside Union Station, adding to the chaos unfolding. At 1:59, our cell phone video shows a man being carried away. That person now identified as Lindell Mays, one of the 2 men charged with second-degree murder, and the same man Jessica Dean was treating just minutes prior.
I have that moral obligation to preserve life when possible. I also believe in the justice system.
It's a joyous day for the city, for every Kansas City Chiefs fan, for families, for anybody to have enough nerve to mess with that. Should think twice.
Max Dutton, 12 News.